So you might wonder why I have two metal sticks in my hand. And we leave that in. But yeah, I just wanted to say, obviously there's been a good lot of talk. And again, just to say before I say anything else, I don't know why people all of a sudden are like, there's so much litter around the place. And then the beaches and everything. Obviously the good weather, and it's understandable people want to go outside and everything. I understand that 100%. But again, there is a responsibility of everybody in this country as a citizen of Ireland to protect the environment, to respect their communities and to respect their country, by not littering and causing hassle for the local authorities and everything. So it's up to people, to pick up after themselves. So put it into public bins. Now I understand public bins, and I talk about that for a second. So in County Cavan, where I am at the moment, public bins, for example, they are being used heavily for illegal dumping rubbish, and this is household waste. People come from the house and dumping rubbish into them, and I can see why local authorities are very hesitant of doing that, because it costs an outrageous amount. I know in Cavan alone, it's an outrageous amount of money that's being put into public bins. For the stuff that's being put into it, because there's household rubbish being put into it. Like, it's amazing. Like, you should look through some of the bins. There's hair dryers being put in. Like, the stuff's been put in that shouldn't be put in. And it's not only pieces of litter, and I don't mind if it was only pieces of litter, but it is being used by illegal dumpers. And it's not as bad as people dumping on the side of the road, don't get me wrong with that. But it's still nonetheless bad. And I'm going to want my sticks like doing this. But again, and in relation to public toilets, now this is another issue in Cavan. There's one up by Tesco car park, which I would say is very, it wouldn't be my best place to go. And then there's one at the town hall in Cavan. There are two public toilets, one by Cavan County Council. And then don't think there's any other public toilets. No, I don't think so. As far as I remember now. But yeah, they're two public toilets. But they are one down. They are really one down. And people saying, we need more public toilets. And I understand that places are closed, you need someone to go to the toilet, and I understand that. But this is the thing, and this is the other side, and this is what we always talked about in Cavan County Council, for example, in county council meetings. And this is probably what other county councils like Dublin City Council and Cork City Council, they're talking about it too, that they are used heavily for drugs. People going in with drugs, it is being used heavily. People stashing drugs there, etc., etc., etc. And basically it's just a mess. Like, it's like I can describe one scene. When I went into the town hall toilets once in Cavan, when I was young, when the Flat Holy Heroin was on, in 2012 or something like that, Flat Holy Heroin was in Cavan. And those steroids there, was fucking God knows what was on the ground there, but I had to still go to the toilet, and there was steroids, and I had to walk through them and everything, and needles and things like that. Like, it was a mess. And again, I can understand local authorities being very worried, because again, it can cause all this antisocial behaviour, and all this, and I understand that 100%. But I'd say to people, just at the end of the day, it is up to the local authorities to a certain degree to provide people with bins, and to provide somewhere to put litter, if it's a small amount of litter, not household waste. But at the end of the day, it's up to you as an individual, because again, you have rights. And again, with rights come responsibility, which is very limited in this country nowadays, may I say. But you have responsibility to make sure that again, if you're going to Galway, you respect you respect that county, you respect its laws, you respect its people, you respect the local authorities, you respect the local tidy towns, and above all else, you respect your country. Because again, your children are going to grow up in a country that is just people just throwing everything after themselves, and that will lead to rats, and that will lead to diseases, and so forth and so on, and then we'd be kicking down at the road to the next generation to sort out. So please think about that. And again, I understand people want to get out, and I 100% agree. It's great weather. It's really, really brilliant weather. It's good to see people out enjoying themselves instead of locked inside. But again, you have to respect the law. You have to respect some kind of the law. And again, tidy towns groups are working around the clock, 24 hours a day, and we can't be happy with their work. They do amazing work. They don't get paid for it. Again, local authorities, I understand. Again, there are the issues that the majority of local authorities are probably discussing at the moment about drug users in toilets. People littering, for example, into public bins. I've seen it many times as somebody that's in the council and in tidy towns. I've seen it many, many times. One incident, actually, when just off the top of my head, somebody actually went, and I mean this and I say this straight, somebody came from Dublin and dumped loads of stuff into bins across Cavan. public bins. They range from clothes, and then there was PlayStation game consoles that were broken, just fire them in. And obviously that's domestic waste, household rubbish. And they just fired it in. There was shoes left, and one incident because I was nearby one of the public bins and I happened to notice it. Loads of, I'd say it was a good 5 pair of shoes just dumped into it. And again, that's not, again, what's essential here. Like take for example, like that I'm eating a few pinballs. That's that's understandable, and they're thinking with me. That's understandable. If you had this, right, and you bought in the shop or whatever, if you throw them into the public bin, that's understandable. But if you throw, like, take for example, if you go with the whole dresser, which I have seen, and again, I've seen disgusting things in my time, working in the waste management section and things like that. I've seen people, people just dump everything, and they get off. The majority of people do get off with it. Like, I've seen ridiculous things being dumped in bins, and you wonder what people have alone. But again, it comes down, and again, I say this to people, it's always been a problem. It really has always been a problem. It's always been kicked down the road, and nothing really can be done about it. It's the court system is just, again, finding them really does no good, because they will just go out and do it again. Majority of the time, very little times they learn their lesson. And half of the fines don't be paid. So yeah, we do have to reform it. But again, it's up to the people. Like if I went out, like when I used to go out maybe outside to play or whatever when I was younger, I would bring my water bottle home, I would bring a Draco and a few packets of crisps or whatever, I'd put them in my pocket and I'd bring them home with me. That's usually what I would have done. But again, that was the way I was brought up, you bring the stuff home with you. That's the family I grew up in. But again, things are very different nowadays, and they look very weird going with these little because and just to say they're always in the corner over there, I have 2 more downstairs, and I just don't know what I do. I just randomly go to them nowadays, just hitting people over the head with them when I get tickled something. But again, I say to people, it's always your responsibility too as a community to, if you see somebody not picking up after themselves or seeing somebody dumping the rubbish, to video them. Again, people whinging and quibbling and crying saying we shouldn't be video people for doing it. Again, this is the only way they're going to listen, and I tell you straight, and I've been in 7 years doing this crack. Finding them at the end of the day, sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. It depends how strict the judge is and how strict the state is in enforcing whatever person it is. But the majority of the time it's public outrage in the employer seeing it or the community seeing it that causes them to rethink their actions and to really have a hard take in life. But again, that's the only way of doing it. So I might say straight. And obviously confronting them too, as I usually do when I see somebody doing it. I always confront them. Even though they might abuse or whatever, all the better. If they hit you, all the better. Because they get a bigger knock in the jail. So but yeah, anyway. So just be careful out there, and please put your litter to the bin. It's a very simple thing. That's all. Thank you.